Meet the extreme sports. When certain sports don't provide you with enough inherent danger, an extreme sport can be called upon to raise heart rates and hazard levels to the max. But what were once activities for rebellious miscreants, extreme sports have gone mainstream, with counterculture, underground competitions replaced with high-octane, high-profile media events. They may successfully bend the rules of physics, but these thrill-seeking athletes stand no chance against the truth. The form of locomotion known as jumping or propelling through the air has a lot of different uses. In battles of war, some have jumped ship in a desperate swim for survival, while some fish jump to snack on a few insects. Some frogs generally jump to avoid predators, while LeBron James jumps just because, well, he can.
3, 2, 1, jump!
For extreme athletes, base jumping is an adrenaline rush like no other, testing themselves with low-altitude leaps.
When you're standing at the exit point and you look at the view, you know that nature is definitely showing off.
Earth is one of the 4 fixed objects from which one can jump. The others are buildings, antennas, and spans. Base jumping has seen highest jump records fall faster than the athletes themselves, like Valery Rostov, who was 48 years of age when he flew off the north face of Mount Everest, 7,220 meters above sea level. Securing takeoff and landing permits are hard to come by, so many base jumps are covert operations, like that of 3 men in 2013, who jumped off One World Trade Center in New York City.
It's just a beautiful experience to have, to experience life from that perspective, to take a moment out and just enjoy your life.
Recording jumps using headcams, they posted the footage on YouTube, got arrested, and were slapped with a $2,000 fine. Although base jumping may be more dangerous than skydiving because reaction time is limited due to the lower jump altitudes, skydiving still boasts the maddest leap of them all, pulled off in 2012 by Austrian daredevil Felix Baumgartner. As part of the Red Bull Stratus project, Baumgartner jumped to Earth from a helium balloon in the stratosphere. He set the world record for skydiving nearly 39 kilometers, reaching an estimated speed of over 1,300 kilometers per hour, or Mach 125. And became the first person to break the sound barrier without vehicular power on his descent. Coming up, wonders on 2 wheels. Originated by California's youth generation of the 1960s, the sport of bicycle motocross, or BMX, has always appealed to the younger generations, even if it's anything but child's play. With high jumps, endless bumps, tight corners, and with the presence of danger looming with each revolution of the pedals, the sport is exhilarating and edge-of-your-seat heart-stopping for both competitors and fans. Desperate to give themselves a sporting facelift, the IOC was hooked on excitement generated by the one-gear, one-brake bikes and made BMX its 4th Olympic cycling discipline, debuting at the Beijing Games in 2008. But of all the men and women who have risked their lives and seen their dream of greatness end with one false correction of the handlebars, one has become synonymous with this extreme sport. Colombia's Mariana Pajón. It seems as though Medellin's 1.58-meter tiny mite, Mariana Pajón, was born with BMX in her blood.
I started BMX at the age of 5 because my dad and my older brother used to ride too. So they took me to the track and I just love it. And I started racing with boys because there were no girls. I beat them, so I just started racing.
Yes, she took up the sport at age 5 and won her first title that same year. 4 years later, she'd add her first world title to the trophy case, further fueling her desire to destroy the opposition.
I always want to win. I get up to win. I get up to be better than I am already. I have done this to achieve my goals. I'm my greatest opponent, and what I feel when I'm in the starting gate, that adrenaline, these butterflies in the stomach, that's what gets me and what drives me every day.
The BMX bandit soon caught the eye of her nation's Olympic delegation, making her their flag bearer at the 2012 London Games, and she returned the favor in gold. Pajón crossed the line almost half a second clear of her nearest rival in the women's BMX final, capturing her nation's only gold medal of that Games, and just the second in Colombia's Olympic history. She was greeted with a hero's welcome in Colombia and received the Order of Boyaca from Colombian President Juan Manuel Santos. Pajón's performances at the World Championships only cemented her status as the biggest name in women's BMX. At the 2016 Worlds in front of her home fans, she won her 6th World Championship gold medal, taking out the elite women's title. It paved the way for her performance at the Rio Olympics later that year, proving she truly is the queen of BMX. Pajón became the first Colombian athlete to win 2 gold medals when she won the women's BMX final with nearly the same margin of victory as she recorded in 2012. Having been born in 1991, it's likely that she'll give Tokyo 2020 a go for gold as well, even if she is destined for a few more bumps and bruises along the way.
This is a dangerous sport, it's an extreme sport. You have a lot of challenges, big jumps, you're going too fast and you're just a little bike. So yeah, you just have to take it. It's what we love about it. It's adrenaline all over.
You've broken how many bones? Explain that one.
I already broke 18 bones. I have more broken bones than world champion titles.
For some, there is no terrain too treacherous for a mountain bike. Add to that an acrobatic flip, a mind-boggling twist, and a jaw-dropping jump, and the ride becomes extreme. It's high skill and high risk, and nobody knows this better than Scottish trials cyclist Danny MacAskill.
I find it very hard to explain to people what I do. Like, I've got all these things in my head, I think, oh, this would be brilliant to do, this would be brilliant to do.
MacAskill has become a YouTube street trial sensation thanks to his breathtaking and often death-defying stunts while on his trusty bicycle.
I see kind of street riding as like a sort of game, and you get to make up the rules. Definitely very satisfying, landing what you dream up. You know, there's always something new to do. You've never learned every trick.
This thrill-seeking has made him a marketing manager's dream, as he's been called upon to spruce up major media events like the Red Bull Wings for Life charity, which raised money for spinal cord injury research. He's also every mother's nightmare, since his videos have garnered millions of hits on YouTube.
There's a lot more to riding than just the physical aspect. There's the sort of creative side. Some of the projects that I've done, there's been a lot of planning. And then on other projects, it's a case of just turning up to the location and just seeing what's there.
There's quite a lot around here, lots of different things.
MacAskill makes every journey an epic one, with straight, simple paths to a destination replaced with houses, hills, and highly hazardous obstacles. One exhilarating example of this is his Way Back Home project, a film that followed him on a two-wheel adventure from Edinburgh to Dunvegan on the Isle of Skye, where he was born and raised. Like the sport itself, Danny MacAskill is both extreme and extremely entertaining to watch. For those who are perhaps less inventive and technical, but built for speed, the Olympic form of mountain biking might be for you. Making its Olympic cycling debut at Atlanta in 1996, mountain biking participants need to be both technically skilled and smart to maneuver through the terrain without falling, fracturing wrists and faces. Traditionally, the Europeans have dominated this sport, and at the Rio 2016 Games, it was no different. Switzerland's Nino Schurter won the men's Olympic mountain bike competition after completing the 34-kilometer course in 1 hour, 33 minutes and 28 seconds. It was a fitting finish for the multiple Swiss national cross-country champion, adding that goal to the one he took home at the 2016 World Championships. That made him the joint all-time leader in World Championship wins with 5. He also made history a year prior by becoming the first European champion at the inaugural European Games in Baku. Switzerland swept the medals, taking home silver and bronze too.
Yeah, thank you. It's an amazing feeling to be the first European champion, and it was a great race, and especially to have my teammates as well on the podium was it's a big achievement for me, but as well for the whole Swiss team, and I'm really happy about it.
Schurter was also happy the race was over, having dealt with conditions that made the sport even more extreme.
Yeah, it was a really tactic race because it was super windy, and yeah, in the beginning we were a big group, and I was a bit afraid that the whole work is on us Swiss, and everybody was watching what we are doing, and I decided then to attack early. I came away, and the other ones were then able to just sit into the group, but unfortunately I had a flat tire, and the whole gap was gone. But 2 laps to go, I attacked again. I'm pretty stoked about this victory.
After the break, brave boarders are making waves. In the 1970s, they said that Britain wasn't ready for a female prime minister, but thanks to Margaret Thatcher, they were proven wrong. In 2008, they said America wasn't ready for a black president. With the arrival of Barack Obama, they too were proven wrong. In 2014, the extreme sport of surfing refused to consider any nation would ever supplant the big two superpowers of the United States and Australia. But those prejudices were put to rest courtesy of Brazilian sensation Gabriel Medina.
Yeah, I know I have a lot of support in Brazil. They are really passionate for any sports, you know. Especially in Brazil, I think we need a world champion, you know, especially in surfing.
Gabriel Medina took up the sport at 9 and 2 years later won his first national title. At 15, he became the youngest surfer to win the World Junior Tour before becoming a regular menace on the pro circuit as of 2011. He slowly worked his way up the surfing ranks, and in 2014, something surfing purists prayed would never happen finally did. Making it a personal mandate to give Brazil its first world champion, Medina steadily mowed down the opposition on the road to the top, including the best of them all, America's legendary Kelly Slater. Ranked number 1 going into the Billabong Pro Tahiti, Medina scored a best of 9.33. Needing to beat that to win, Slater, the 11-time world champion, went all out, but managed a 9.30, narrowly losing out to the Brazilian.
I'm so blessed to have these conditions at Chops and to surf against all these guys. You know, I'm a big fan of everyone, and I don't know what to say. You know, I'm so happy right now.
But his happiness turned to absolute elation at the end of the year when he secured Brazil's first world surfing title by finishing runner-up to Australia's Julian Wilson at the Pipe Masters in Oahu, Hawaii.
Oh, it feels amazing. I don't know what to say right now. I have a great support here. Alejo just helping me now, and I just love the crowd, I love the sport, and everything pays off right now.
Becoming the first Brazilian world champion and first 20-year-old to do so since Kelly Slater himself, Medina destabilized the American-Australian rule of the sport. For Brazil is surfing's third great nation, and their talents are now coming in waves. There is one common goal for all surfers: catch and dominate the next big wave. But there is one man who's conquered the biggest of them all, and amazingly come out of the experience, well, alive.
I could go a whole winter without catching a big wave, but it could mean that I could get, you know, one of the best waves of my life.
British plumber turned big wave surfer Andrew Cotton set a world record by riding an 80-foot or 24.3-meter wave off the coast of Portugal in 2014. But the world record wasn't big enough, and so in 2015, he spent the entire winter focused on the Atlantic Ocean, where he searched for the ultimate wave off the west coast of Ireland.
The first time I actually saw the wave, we had 2 jet skis, we were driven like 45 minutes. Out to sea, it was freezing cold, it was January. It was giant, perfect, so much water moving. I knew that I was going to have to come back. Dealing with a giant wave in the middle of nowhere in freezing cold Ireland brings a whole nother level of danger. This wave it's fickle, we know it's fickle, but the windows of opportunity that we're going to get, they have to align with the tide, the light, the wind, the swell, whether it's peaking or whether it's dropping. It's going to need 110% commitment.
Some would call this commitment misplaced effort, and others sheer insanity. But fortunately, Cotton had experienced and level-headed captain Matt Knight to keep him in tow.
This area can turn from something as benign and beautiful and calm as this on a day like this into what can only be described as absolute hell.
But this hunt for the perfect wave has become as consuming as the monstrous waves themselves.
I believe Andrew's respect for the ocean is going to keep him safe. He's not reckless about it, and he's not egotistical about it.
Seeing the size of the waves on such an average forecast is just, it's kind of scaring me.
Cotton eventually got what he went for. They weren't record breakers, but waves in the area reach up to 60 feet, or the height of 4 double-decker buses stacked one on top of the other. So what is so luring about catching a big wave? Perhaps it's the unexpected.
Maybe all humans have a kind of desire to have some sort of adventure or have some sort of experience which get the juices flowing.
Cotton himself said, The really exciting thing about surfing is that you never know when there's going to be a bigger wave. It's not like mountain climbing, where you can climb the highest mountain. Feeling too exposed on just a surfboard alone? Well, why not string a kite to the board and take up kite surfing? Sure, it's a lot more complicated than that, but for what seems like forever, Spanish kitesurfing superstar Gisela Pulido has made it look easy. Pulido calls Tarifa home, which is also considered the home of some of the world's best kitesurfing conditions, which Pulido has been enjoying since she was just 7 years of age. And almost instantly, she became the queen of kitesurfing. Since winning the European Junior title in 2003, she won an astonishing 10 world titles between 2004 and 2015, her first one coming when she was just 10 years of age. Her sublime surfing skills have allowed her to travel the world, even becoming the first person to kitesurf around the 12 Apostles, a collection of limestone stacks off the coast of the Australian state of Victoria.
It was an amazing experience. The sea was really rough. There were lots of waves. The wind was incredibly strong and the Apostles were huge. They were 30 meters high. It took a lot of adrenaline, but it was incredible.
And upon winning her 10th title, she took time to hit the islands of Greece, Mykonos to be precise, and share some of her insights to other girls looking to make it big in the sport. But it seems there is little chance any female will be as dominant with a kite and a board. Still to come, testing fate and Mother Nature on a snowboard. Despite being born in Wyoming and surrounded by slopes seemingly designed by Mother Nature herself for the sport, Travis Rice didn't even take up snowboarding until he was 18 years of age. But he's considered one of the most influential snowboarders of all time, and an absolute snowboarding beast. With his fearless free-riding style in tow, Rice entered his first pro competition as an 18-year-old. Nailed a jump nobody was crazy enough to try, and left it with his first snowboarding video contract and sponsor, and the respect of fellow snowboarders and fans. Rice soon turned into arguably the greatest all-round snowboarder the sport has ever seen, overcoming every obstacle the backcountry has thrown at him. He's even successfully designed and dominated many one-day big mountain freestyle snowboard competitions sponsored by Red Bull.
It's a dynamic event that showcases, really what snowboarding is about. 18 of the world's best come, throw down, one perfect day, perfect course, and some futuristic features.
What's also incredible are his series of adrenaline-filled feature films, turning him into a walking snowboarding franchise and astute snowboard film producer.
Here it is, day one. I'm just super excited to finally kick this thing off. This will be by far the most ambitious project we've ever taken on, and we're headed out to some completely uncharted terrain.
Rice is a far cry from another snowboarding legend, Shaun White, the exuberant red-haired half-pipe monster who became an international celebrity, putting the sport on the mainstream map. But purists of the sport have never been entirely impressed with the fanfare surrounding the flying tomato, with Travis Rice himself saying, "Shaun wants to be a rock star, I just want to grow a beard and get weird in the woods." In the world of snowboarding, Travis Rice is as iconic as they come. On the surface, it may seem that extreme sports are for thrill-seeking adrenaline junkies who have no regard for themselves. But perhaps, thanks to extreme sports, safety is getting more thought these days. Because rather than face off against a palpable opponent, the opponent in these sports is danger. And ultimately, the work that goes into ensuring that opponent is always defeated is the absolute priority. Hence, one must commend these extremely daring men and women for the bravery, the inventiveness, and the absolute insanity of it all. And that is the truth.